Hello and welcome to Chart of the Day Cafe for Thursday, October 20th, 2016. Just going to read our disclaimer quickly. Trading stocks is a high level of risk and viewers should complete their own due diligence on any stock or underlying that they intend to own. 100% of the content of this video and communique is intended for journalistic and educational purposes only. This video and all indicators, strategies, and articles herein should not be construed as investment advice. Thank you for your patience with that. Oh, so important for you to understand that I am just sharing my own personal homework with you and not making any recommendations whatsoever. So with that, let's get into today's video. We always start with a look at the Russell Index, and for that we use the IWM, which is the ETF that represents the Russell 2000, and we step back to take a look at it on a 5-year monthly time frame. We were paying particular attention to this blue channel that the Russell traded within through all of 2014, had this little lift up and out in early 15, hit this upper blue band where price was rejected. We had that sell-off, and then price strength came back in, and we were right back up at that upper blue band right here, right now. So very, very interesting area. Candle for the month of September had a slightly bullish orientation to it, but with a wick at the top and a wick at the bottom, a little bit of indecision as well at this very, very important area. So worth noting. I'm going to pull it away from the 5-year monthly to the 2-year weekly. And you can see this trend line that we drew in a couple of weeks ago saying that the Russell was going to have to break through that black line to take a run at that upper blue band. So this is the same blue band as on the big chart. What I want you to note is at Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about price being up and over this 8-day EMA, this blue line, which is the 8-day EMA. When price is trading above it, we're good. We're putting fresh charts forward. When price is trading below it, we're going to be careful and just sit tight. We use the daily chart as our guide. I'm showing you the weekly here to say that in this area that's very important, the Russell's struggling a little bit. So price is below the 8-day EMA on the weekly, but having said that, it's above it on the daily, so we will put a chart forward today. I just want you to see this area, very important. Today might be an important day because the ECB made a rate decision, decided to keep rates unchanged, so the market's going to digest that news today and decide which way it wants to go. I'm filming this at about 9 o'clock on Thursday morning. The futures are slightly in the red, so we'll see how the day is decided. Here is the daily chart of the Russell. There's our same black line. We're just magnifying it. Yesterday was a doji day. Wick at the top, wick at the bottom. Bears and bulls fought it out during the day, but in the end, it was a draw with no decision in the candle. So it'll be interesting to see how today plays out, whether price gets rejected here and it starts to soften, or we get through. But with price on the Russell up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily, we will put a chart forward this morning. And that chart is one that everyone I think will recognize. It's Coke. C-O-K-E. I want to make a distinction between Coke, the beverage company, which is K-O, and C-O-K-E, which is the bottling company. We are looking at the bottling company. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. Coca-Cola Bottling Company Consolidated was incorporated in 1980. It produces, markets, and distributes non-alcoholic beverages, primarily Coca-Cola products in the United States and around the world. It's headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia. You know at Chart of the Day Cafe, it's all about value first. I look for value. And this one has a nice value score. Second thing I look for is growth, and COKE has a forecasted earnings growth rate of 22% going forward, which is nice. And the third thing I look for, which I can't always get, but I do have it with this one, is a dividend yield. Coke has a small dividend yield of 0.69%. And for those of you that are PE people, it's got a PE ratio of 15.11. So with that, let's get back to the chart. You can see that we're at this area of support. We're looking at the 5-year monthly chart. You can see the volume on the monthly candle here that pushed price up into this area. And if the market continues higher, Coke may also resume its uptrend here. So it's giving us a little bit of that look. I want you to get that point of reference on the monthly, and then you're going to see it better when I pull it into the 2-year weekly chart. So here's that same orange line, and we're starting to get that lift. So You can see the doji from last week and then the move higher so far this week. It's Thursday, but so far so good. So I'm going to move it away from the 2-year weekly to the 6-month daily, and there you go. You can see we're starting to get a 3 and 8 cross. So at Chart of the Day Cafe, what we use as our guide is this 3 and 8 EMA. Whether you want to use it on the weekly setting or the daily, but when the 3 EMA, which is the pink line, moves up and over the blue, which is the 8-day EMA, we are interested. When it crosses below, we are not. So Coke is starting to look kind of perky here. I'm going to pull it in a little bit further. I've got my little green circle saying that if the markets decide to go higher today, I think this might be one you might want to consider for your watch list if it continues to have some follow through here, because we're starting to get that cross. I do not currently own Coke, and again, I'm not making any recommendations whatsoever. I just think this is a really interesting chart to keep an eye on. You know, in preparation for these videos, I always like to put some other things in front of you, and seasonality is one of them. We've been talking about it lately. Coke, the soft drinks industry, is coming into some seasonal strength here. So this is from Equity Clock. Love, love, love this website. I think it's great. And you can see the seasonality coming into play. No guarantee it'll happen again this year, but you always want to have as much in your favor as you can. They are also expanding their distribution network, so I am going to include this article with today's video as well in the show notes. So that might be a catalyst for Coke to start lifting from this area as well. So let's go back and just check the boxes on what we've talked about so far with Coke. We've talked about the market being in an overall uptrend. It's at that area of resistance, so we want to be aware of that. But price on the Russell is up and over the 8-day EMA on the daily chart, so we are putting a new chart forward. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention the sector. Thanks for... So here's the soft drink sector chart overall. So we've got the market, and the sector is sitting at this area of support like the Coke chart, but overall uptrend. We're looking at the 2-year weekly here, and overall it's going higher, and it looks as though it's finding an area of support here. No guarantees, but I just wanted to show you that sector chart as well. So getting back to our boxes, sector at support and may resume uptrend. Sorry, this is from an old... I meant to have Coke in here instead of UPS, but Coke is in a 5 and 2-year trend that looks to be going higher. It's got a good value score. It's got a good growth score. Dividend yield of 0.69%. It's starting to look as though it's got its 3 and 8 cross. We want some follow through and lift, but looking good so far. And it's got seasonality in its favor. PE ratio of 15.11. So with that, we're putting Coke forward as our Chart of the Day Cafe pick for today. Also wanted to mention a couple of other charts that look strong here as well. Past Chart of the Day Cafe picks, one is Raytheon. We put it forward here. We've been doing these videos for a while, so that was quite a while ago. We pull it into the monthly. Way back here, Raytheon is bouncing off this area of support. Check the scores on it this morning, and they are looking good. I'll show you the 3-month chart. Sort of consolidating here, but if the markets continue higher, I think this might be one to keep an eye on as well. The other one was Broadcom, AVGO. This one was a past Chart of the Day Cafe pick as well. Let's go back. If we put it forward here, let's go to monthly. Right about here when it was lifting off this area of support, and if the market continues higher, this one looks pretty interesting here too. So let's go back to the daily and say with lift here, AVGO Broadcom looks pretty interesting as well. So with that, I'll leave you, and have a great weekend. We will put charts forward again next week. It'll be interesting to see how the next couple of days play out. Thanks very much.